Absolutely thrilled to have a big beast in the middle of an already pretty good lineup. Again, Front Office Insights presented by Sage. Zack Minasian, the guy who pulled the trigger and got his man for the middle of that lineup. Zack, congratulations on authoring such a big one here. We were just visiting during commercial, you, Dan, and I, and we were all pretty amazed. This fell out of the sky for almost all of us. So when you knew you had a deal in place, did you tell your guys, hey, keep it quiet? Like, how did you keep this off the streets? Boston writers are pretty sneaky.
Yeah. When we had the deal in place, our game was just starting right around the corner. So it all happened so quickly. And we were just basically stuck on the phone most of the morning and afternoon that I don't even know if some of our guys knew that it was actually happening. So, but, credit to our front office, the Red Sox front office, keeping these things quiet, I think always gives you a better chance of getting a deal done. And we were able to do that and obviously very excited about it.
Hey, Zack, it's Dan. You guys have gotten off to a great start. Did that help accelerate the process to try to acquire a guy like Devers when you feel like, hey, not only do you have a shot at the postseason, but now the West is well within your guys' reach?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way we've played, the way we've pitched, our rotation, our bullpen have both been outstanding. Our offense has been a little up and down, but has definitely given us enough to win games. And so to add to that offense just felt like such a great opportunity, one we couldn't pass up, and hopefully it means more wins going forward.
Hey, because you guys were working under the cover of darkness on this deal, Zack, do you think if the Red Sox had kind of put it out there that they were taking on offers for Devers, do you think you still have as good a chance to land him, or did the fact that you were in a narrow lane kind of expedite the deal at the end of the day?
Tough to say. I wouldn't want to speculate, their vantage point. We felt from our vantage point that we matched up well, being able to offer a young pitcher like Kyle Harrison, who, we think the world of. It's just a little bit of the price of doing business, along with James Tibbs is our first-round pick last year. Jordan Hicks has been a leverage reliever. He started for us at times over his year and a half here. So we felt like we had a pretty good package to offer. And as the Red Sox started to really express, there's a willingness to move him now, we just tried to move forward. So tough to say from their standpoint, but felt like we had to give up a decent amount of talent to get this done, and a little bit of the risk, the price of doing business.
Zack, will you have a conversation with Devers to see if or will he play first base, some third base for you guys, along with DHing?
Yeah, we're going to talk to him, and look, we want him to feel at home. We want to communicate with him very well. Everything we've heard since the trade, some of the background work we try and do before these things happen, it just sounds like an outstanding person, a winner, teammate. So we're excited to get him, excited to have those conversations, and feel like those things will work themselves out relatively quickly.
We've got some disagreement here, Zack, because all of our, experts, we all think we know what's going to happen now that you've landed your man. Some of us think that he might play some third base until Chappie's ready to go. Others think he's just going to DH. Some people think he's going to play first base. I guess, what is the ideal situation for you, and what makes you think he's going to play first base for you when he said no thanks to the Red Sox, if in fact that's the ask?
Yeah, look, the ideal situation for me is Rafi in the batter's box, first and foremost. So no doubt getting a hitter. I think, just some of the feedback we've gotten so far is just the willingness to have the conversation. So I wouldn't want to get too far ahead of anything. And look, Rafi's been in the league a long time, all-star, MVP caliber player. So wouldn't want to get too far ahead of anything, just have that conversation with him and really see where it goes and where he's comfortable. So Buster's been pretty open. We're a players first organization. We want to make sure we take care of our players as well as we can. And we're looking forward to having these conversations with Rafi and getting them in a Giants uni.
Hey, Zack, in the chain of command, does it help having a guy like Buster Posey, who's kind of changed the culture of the Giants, when you go to Buster Posey and say, hey, we have a chance to acquire a guy like Devers? Does he meet that with enthusiasm?
Yeah, I mean, look, relative to the past, that Farhan Zaidi brought me into San Francisco, great relationship, so much respect for him, and just like Buster, we have a great relationship, a lot of respect for him, and have really felt comfortable having these types of conversations, regardless. But with Buster in particular, and just kind of him putting his stamp on things is we expect the Giants to have a very high standard of quality of team that should be out there. So, for this type of opportunity to present itself, you feel pretty comfortable it's going to be well received, and Buster got pretty aggressive trying to get it done.
What's the timeline for his arrival? Walk us through what the next couple of days are going to look like for him and the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, he'll actually land in San Francisco today at some point, and be in our clubhouse tomorrow afternoon, and just really excited to meet him and talk with them and go from there. So, but he should be inbound to SF here at any point.
Zach, one final question from me. I know a lot of Giants fans wondering what number will Devers have?
You know what? I don't know if that's public yet, so I'm going to refrain from giving that answer because I don't know how much we're going to make a spectacle of it. But look, as you can see behind me, there's a lot of numbers that are retired in Giants history. So he'll have to find one besides 11, but he'll make the number work for him. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I want to know stuff like that. I also want to know who's picking him up at the airport. He's not going to do an Uber X to get to the ballpark.
And I'll pick him up if he wants me to.
Zach, we appreciate the time, man. We know you're busy. Everybody wants to know how this went. And thanks for visiting with us. Congratulations on getting the big bat.